You can't be too busy chopping wood to sharpen the axe. You're working with a dull blade. You can whack away all day long and make very little progress for your efforts. You need to take a step back every once in a while, make an investment in your business, make an investment in yourself. You need to sharpen the axe.
You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan Englin, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the CoreFit hiring system, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. Welcome back. My name is Ryan Englin. I am the host of Titans of the Trades. And today's episode is someone that I have been excited to feature on the show, to talk about what he's up to and what's going on. I found out about his software platform more than a decade ago. In fact, it was one of our first clients ever, a small electrical contractor that had said, nope, this is the platform that is helping me transform my business. And ever since then, I've been excited to learn more about them and keep learning about what's going on. Now they're over 1,000 employees and they help more than 250,000 entrepreneurs. It gets insane. So there's some lessons to be learned here, and that's why I brought him. And I want you to be ready to take some notes about some of the things, some of the challenges, especially if you're dealing with software frustrations, people frustrations, or even growth problems. We're going to talk through some of those things. So get ready to take some notes. Want to introduce on today's show, Sam Pillar, the CEO and founder of Jobber. Sam, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Ryan.
I've been really excited to have you on the show. Jobber is a software platform that I've known about for a long time. We've had some partner clients that are just die hard, drank the Kool-Aid, don't talk to me about any other platform but Jobber. It is it for their business. And so I'm excited to have you here. So thank you.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that. We want more of that.
Yeah. So you started Jobber in 2011, and I'm sure that there was this brilliant idea where you're like, hey, it's going to change the landscape for everybody. And it was all perfect. And that's it. The rest was history. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Tell us a little bit about Jobber. And what was that moment of brilliance where you said, hey, the industry needs something like this?
Yeah, I would like to be able to tell a story of a grand long-term vision to change the world, but really it began with the desire to change the world for one. I was a freelance software developer prior to starting the company, and one of the clients who I worked with was a small business in one of the trades. That experience, building some very sort of niche-y functionality and learning a little bit about their business and how a little bit of automation in the business could have a tremendous impact, was the impetus for what would become Jobber. It became obvious, two things became obvious in that period and spending time working on these projects. One is small businesses and entrepreneurs are amazing. Like, I developed a real desire to have as much positive impact as I possibly could for these kinds of businesses. And two, and this is ancient history, 2011, there's nothing out there for them. There's nobody helping. Everybody was building software for big companies and nobody cared at all about small businesses. And actually, that remained true for a long time. And to a large extent, it still is today. People just don't care enough about small businesses and entrepreneurs. And that's a huge part of the economy. It's most of the private labor force. People say it all the time, but it's true. It's the backbone of the economy. It's the heartbeat of local communities. To the extent that you can have a really positive impact on small businesses, it feels awesome. It's good, work to be doing. And so that was really the aha, was there's nobody doing this. I can have a big impact by doing this. Let's do this at scale. Fast forward 14 years, Jobber's a 1,000 employee company doing this for businesses all over the world.
You're no longer that small business that you were out there helping. I've got a heart for the small business entrepreneur as well. That was my story. My dad was a blue collar entrepreneur. I saw the struggles they go through. I saw the challenges. And there's no one out there helping on the people component side. There's no one out there saying, here's how you be a better leader. Here's how you become the employer of choice. Here's how you do these systems and processes. There's a lot of HR people willing to do contingent recruiting and help you find technicians, but no one's out there saying, here's how you build a better culture. Here's how you communicate better. Here's how you're doing those things. And they not only have they turned their back on the blue collar industries, but they've also turned their back on the small business because that's
Yeah.
not where the money is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
It's
and
school of hard knocks. A lot of these businesses, it's just you learn by doing good habits and bad habits.
yeah,
And it's hard. There's so much work to do. So unfortunately, buried in administration and just like barely getting enough of the work done, you don't have a lot of time to focus on being a great leader and hiring great people and nurturing them. Like there's important parts of building a business that unfortunately small businesses just don't have a lot of time to spend on.
well, and some of that stuff too, if they don't get as many opportunities to learn it, the school of hard knocks can take a very long time to do it. If you only hire 2 or 3 people a year, but you've got to hire 25 before you figure out how to do good hiring, you're a decade in before you figured out hiring. And I'm
Yeah.
sure the same thing goes with estimating and project management and all of the other things that jobbers set out to solve.
Yeah.
So you've got this background in software consulting, you've got a passion for the industry, and you're like, we're going to solve this problem. What's Jobber up to today? I saw that you guys just released a whole bunch of new stuff to help the industry. Like, talk about some of the stuff you're most excited about. I'm sure AI is in there somewhere. Everybody's talking about AI now. So what are you guys up to?
Yeah, I mean, we just had a major release. Jobber Now is a release event that we have every year. And like you said, AI is a big theme, but it's actually bigger than that. I think we really are focused on business success and building functionality that is really genuinely going to help these businesses generate more revenue and grow and be more successful and more efficient so that they can spend the time on the things that matter. We've launched a bunch of new functionality in our marketing suite lately. You can generate and automatically post reviews, build referral programs. We have a website builder, an AI website builder that'll build a really beautiful website for you with basically the click of a button. And that's actually free on all of our plans. We really are trying to put our best foot forward to give businesses what they need in order to be successful and to grow. AI is certainly a major theme for us. And I mentioned our campaigns. We now have an email campaign generator. So you can type the kind of campaign that you want to have, and that'll automatically be generated for you, branded and ready to go. We launched our Jobber Voice. So now you can interact with and control Jobber on the go with your voice. So again, this is practical. It's not whiz bang AI for AI's sake functionality. It's practical stuff that businesses need to do. We're making your life easier, making it easier to grow by building AI into our product. The next one is AI Receptionist. We have a Jobber Receptionist that is AI powered. Pretty tremendous. I think to date, we've got something like 200,000 conversations logged for the customers who are using this tool to answer the phone when
Wow.
they're just not available to answer it. We've booked over 10,000 jobs for them. It's saving real hours, many, many, many hours for small businesses that just don't have them. And early days, I think there's so much opportunity for us to do more to help save time and to earn more work, make more money.
What do you think? So if I own a contracting business, we're small, maybe they've got 2 or 3 trucks on the road, and we haven't actually even explored the software and the automation tools and everything else. What is the single greatest obstacle to me getting my business to the next level? Or what's the thing standing in the way, besides me as the owner, that is keeping me from growing? And how does Jobber just fit into that?
Yeah.
What's the one thing that if I'm dealing with this, I got no choice but go to getjobber.com and check it out?
Yeah. Frankly, if you're 2 or 3 trucks and you haven't explored this stuff, you're behind. You need it more than the big company who has 10 trucks, because you're more time strapped, you're more resource strapped. This can be a competitive advantage for you, a differentiator. It can be the thing that unlocks getting you a little bit more time back so that you can work on your business, not in your business. As they always say, focus on the quality of service delivery, focus on building a great team, great systems. But the potential for impact of these tools is greatest the smaller you are. So really, there's nothing standing in the way. These days, I mean, product like Jobber is very affordable for a small business. It's pretty easy to work up a business case, how much time it needs to save you to justify the cost. Cost is not an issue. It really is time. So you just have to make the time to sit down in an
Well, if
evening or
I'm that entrepreneur that's thinking, how do I get more hours in a day or more hours in a week, and I can't figure it out, I just need to not even bother with should I or shouldn't I. It's you have no choice. You need to get into a system like this. And with the evolution of Jobber, how great it's gotten, it's probably pretty easy to get someone set up for the basics. I'm sure that the amount of customization and things that we can do, I mean, you got large clients. So it's not like it's just for the small guy. There are large companies that works for too. But just to get in and get consistency around your data, I mean, to me, that's what I see the value in Jobber is the data consistent, the communications consistent, it's creating that consistency, which leads to customer experience, which we all want to have great customer experience because happy customers pay more, right? They refer more, they do more. Like
Sure.
the ROI, I imagine, is probably ridiculous, which is why we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the answer is if you're out of time, if you don't have enough time to do what you need to do in a day, and you don't have a platform like this to help you manage your field service business or anything like that, then you owe it to yourself
Yeah, for sure.
to at
My
least do it.
co-founder always says that you can't be too busy chopping wood to sharpen the axe. You're working with a dull blade, you can whack away all day long and make very little progress for your efforts. You need to take a step back every once in a while, make an investment in your business, make an investment in yourself. You need to sharpen the axe. We make it easy. We make it really easy to get up and running, get started with Jobber. We've got resources to help people get up and running. We've got people standing by to help you understand how you should implement this in your business. And you can be up and running very, very quickly. This isn't weeks or months of implementation. If you've got a pretty easy set of processes, you can be up and running in a couple of hours with our product.
I love it. Now, to avoid the last half of this feeling like a Jobber commercial, because this is not a Jobber commercial. I want everybody to hear from Sam. He's got a great story, but Jobber's changing lives. I mean, the reality is there are so many, what I see, 300,000 pros, I think it said on your website. I mean,
That's
it's impacting people's lives in a positive way. And that's really what I want to focus on with what Jobber's doing, because the impact is so much greater than here's another software tool. Because I know from my experience, the best software platform is the one that you use. I don't care which one it is. They all do a lot of the same stuff. Some have better things, better support and all that. But if you're not going to use it, it's not going to help you.
yeah.
And so I want to talk about that for a minute. So when we look at Jobber, I mean, I imagine you've blood, sweat, and tears with this thing over the last 14 years. This is not just a side project for you. It's not a side hustle. There's something that keeps you going. There's something that keeps driving you. Can you share a couple of stories that stand out in your mind of customers whose lives have transformed because they just sold out to a platform and systems and said, I'm going to do it. And boom, they hit 1 million, or boom, they hit their goals. And now all of a sudden they've got more free time. Because can you share some of those stories, those impactful stories with our listeners?
Yeah, there's a couple that come to mind. And I'm really thankful for the fact that when we started this business, it really was born out of the fact that, as I described a little earlier, I just really appreciated how hard these small business owners, entrepreneurs were working to try to pursue their dream and build something out of nothing that's their own and nobody else's. And the fact that I could be a little bit like a part of that by providing some kind of a platform to help them be successful is just so motivating. And we really try to embed that into everyone that works here at Jobber. It's a through line to our culture. And we're really fortunate that working with all of these small business entrepreneurs, we hear tons of stories, just so many thousands and thousands of stories of success, which I think is kind of what you're talking about. And success means different things for different people. Some people have a financial goal. They want to grow. They want to get to 1 million in revenue. And we have been a part of that story so many times. We've coined this term, the blue collar millionaire. I want to create more blue collar millionaires. And people don't realize it. It's crazy. We have a sort of a social environment where for decades, young people are all encouraged to go to university, go to college. It's just, you don't really think about it. You graduate from high school and you go to higher education. And people have kind of looked down on the trades and blue collar career paths. Well, Fast forward a few decades, we're now in this student loan crisis. And meanwhile, if you graduate from high school, you go learn a useful skill, you work for a couple of years for another business, you can start your own business. And in the same time that it would take to graduate with a degree, you can actually be running a 6-figure or 7-figure business of your own. And we've seen that play out a number of times. I love these stories of ambitious young high school kids. There's one that we had in Atlanta, we've talked about a lot in our marketing material, where this kid, he started borrowing his mom's car. I think it was like an old Nissan Altima, and he had his lawnmower sticking out the back trunk and sort of bungee corded shut. And he would just drive around the rich neighborhoods and look for long grass, cut it, and he'd go knock on the door and say, "Hey, like, cut your grass. If you like it, here's my information. You can hire me for next time and tell your friends." And he's now running, the last we checked, it's 7 or 8 trucks and a multi-million-dollar business. And
Wow.
that kind of, it's a real rags to riches story. It's like, we should be making movies about this kind of thing and telling these stories and getting young people excited. Love that kind of story, but there's also just getting your time back, allowing you to focus on things that really matter, like family. We have a touching story of a customer whose parent was sick and dying in the hospital, and he was able to travel and visit his parent and continue to keep his business running because he had systems in place so that things didn't fall apart for the 2 or 3 weeks that he was gone. And that's on the other side end of the spectrum, sort of like a powerful impact that systems and these kinds of platforms can have on your business and your life, really. I mean,
Yeah.
for small businesses, entrepreneurs, really the two are very intertwined. Like your business, it is your life. The two are one and the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, the work and life are so integrated. They're one and the same. Like it's almost impossible to turn it off and turn it back on. And
Yeah.
I see platforms like Jobber and really any system that you use, like that you put into your business, can give you that time back, can give you that freedom. What I like to call margin. And what you're talking about, and these rags to riches stories, and these opportunities to spend time with the things, with people that matter, and the things that really matter, the things that are important to us, it all comes from building a business built on systems, built on processes. And that's what we do a lot over at Core Matters is we focus on the people side of the business, which is a whole nother thing. It's great. You got all these customers calling you. Well, now you got to be able to make sure you got enough people. The software helped you get more business. Now you got to get more people. And that's where we come in. And it just, but what's so important for us and for me is like, I grew up in a family where my dad was an owner operator and I saw him gone and working weekends and crazy stuff like that. And I want to break that cycle. Because I think in this industry, we've accepted that. It's me in a truck. I'm going to work 90-hour weeks and that's it. That's what you have to do. And while grinding is part of being an entrepreneur, there are tools, there are experts, there are people that can show you how to do it without having to put in all those hours and grind and miss the kids growing up. I met a guy one time and he owned, it was like auto body or mechanics or something like that. And he was in his late 60s. And I go, so why do you want to do this? Like, why do you want to solve the people problems now? Why do you want to get out of the business? He goes, because I missed my kids growing up. I'm
Yeah.
not going to do the same for my grandkids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, to me, that just like, ow.
It hurts, yeah. And you don't have to. You don't have to sacrifice business growth in order to recapture the time that you want and that you need in order to have a family and be present and spend time with them. The two are not mutually exclusive, but you need, to your point, you need systems, you need processes, you need software, not to turn it back into a job or commercial, but you don't have to make that trade-off. There are ways to have your cake and eat it too, but you need to invest.
Yeah. Yeah. So I asked this question earlier, and it was time was the biggest pain point. That's the reason that I look as an entrepreneur to something like Jobber to help my business. Software aside, what have you and your team seen as the biggest barrier to growth in an entrepreneur? I mean, we always talk about the entrepreneur is the reason the company's not growing, but inside of that, what have you found? And then do you have any stories that you can share with people that overcame it?
Yeah, I think the number one thing that we hear about when we talk to customers, talk to small business owners about their challenges and what's holding them back, what has really stood in their way is people. It's talent. It's having the ability to, hire good, reliable people who are then going to make good on the promise that you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, have delivered to your customers. There's so much pride in small business ownership and a lot of like perfectionists. This is how it's done. This is how I deliver my service. I'm holding a very high bar. I have a high standard for what I want to deliver to my customers because that's my reputation. And so
Yeah.
as soon as you start having to rely on other people to deliver that service through through proxy at the level, at the standard level that you've set, it's a very difficult thing. I think I've seen a lot of small business owners really flounder and struggle when they get to that point. And so they either don't grow or they grow and see that quality of service degrade and erode and become very frustrated and anxiety ridden, that they carry a lot of stress and burden that they might not otherwise need to. And I think that entrepreneurs that I've seen address this very well, including our very first customer. His name is Graham Audenart. He runs a painting business in our hometown, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And he really started to devote time and attention to learning leadership principles and taking a step back and removing himself from the context of like, I'm just a painting business or I'm just a blue collar or a trade business, and studying some of the literature, some of the material that's available out there about strong leadership, management principles, basic management principles, stuff that you might learn in a basic business school kind of class, and applying those ideas, those principles to his own business. And I think that's just a great example of working on your business, not in your business, and focusing on the strategic kinds of levers that you have at your disposal rather than just getting snowed in by all the work that is accumulating and piling up on top of you.
It was interesting when you were starting out and you were talking about how letting go is the biggest challenge that entrepreneurs face. And even when it comes to things like AI or even automation, I see a lot of entrepreneurs really struggle with, well, what if it doesn't communicate the right thing? Or what if it doesn't communicate the right time? Or what? I personally believe that any kind of communication done with a purpose is better than not communicating at all. And most of the time, what do? We don't communicate with our
Yeah.
customers, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
That's like the perfect is the enemy of done, right? Like there's this
yes.
balance, like you want it to be really good. The service must be great. It must be really good, but you also just have to get it done.
And what I found out is because we get a lot of entrepreneurs are like, no one's ever going to do it like me. If I want it done right, I got to do it myself. They buy into all of this stuff. What I found is that as the leader, as the entrepreneur, if you can document, like write down, even if it's like 5 or 6 bullet points, why your way is better and what your expected outcome is and why it needs to be done that way, you can hand that to almost any employee and they go, thank you for being clear because the last person I worked
Yeah.
with was not clear and I had no idea how to do it their way. Just
Yeah.
that little bit of clarity that you can give to a new employee, especially when you're small. Here's how our way is better. Just write a couple of things down and give it to them. And what I've learned is that as the entrepreneur, I've got 27 hats that I wear. And I only can wear the customer service one for so long before I got to put on the accounting or the sales or the marketing or whatever. But when you hire a technician, that's the only hat they wear.
Yeah.
So not only if you can communicate it, will they follow it, but 9 times out of 10, they'll even do it better than you will.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
But we're so afraid of that because it's our business, our baby. And
Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
it all the time. I totally get it.
Yeah. I think people want to do a good job. Like, I think, especially if you can show your employees why it's important to do a good job. What is the outcome of that? Like, what is that like glowing reaction from a customer who's just really happy with the job you did and how that made their life better? If you can bring people into that part of the outcome that you're creating by doing great work, most people, they want to contribute to that. They want to be part of a winning team that's going to do awesome work. And if you can bring people along and make them feel like they are a part of that, they're going to be self-motivated to do great work.
Absolutely. Sam, this has been awesome. Not only are you doing amazing things to help the industry, I think I shared with you a little bit before we hit record that, I don't think we're going to be able to solve the problems for the industry by ourselves. I don't think Jobber is going to do enough to make a big enough impact. I know Core Matters isn't going to do enough. I mean, heck, even the Mike Rose and the people that are out there that are making it happen, they're not doing enough by themselves. We got to come alongside each other and say, as an industry, we are going to change. And it's going to take a while to get there, but
Yeah.
I think we can do it. I think the proliferation of AI is going to show a lot of these people that, hey, maybe having a journalism degree isn't the best thing in the world. You should probably go get into the trades or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, so I think we're going to see a pretty massive shift in the next decade or so. But hey, for people that want to either connect with you, learn more about what you're up to, follow you, learn about Jobber, I know you guys have a ton of free resources available for people. In fact, I was kind of geeking out and I'm like, oh, I'm going to share this with a few people. Like there's some cool stuff out there. Tell us how they can learn about what you're up to, how they can learn more about Jobber, and maybe even get access to some of your free resources.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I think it's important to point out, obviously, we're a software company, but we do a lot more than just software. And our ambition is to just call attention to raise the profile of the trades and blue collar work. We want to grow the home service economy. We want to help just create more entrepreneurs in this space. We want to do whatever we possibly can to just lubricate this industry, help make it work better for everyone. And so we've got a pretty robust community forum that you can access through our website, and also a whole bunch of free tools. You can go to the Jobber Blueprint through the resources section of our website, and we have just a ton of resources, free tools, information that you can take advantage of. We've got some really cool business graders that we've been coming out with, so you can check out how your website and your online presence stacks up and get some free advice for how to improve it. So we really want to, and hopefully people ultimately determine that, hey, this is a company I really want to partner with in achieving success. We can be the software platform of choice, but that's not the only way we want to help. We want to do whatever we can. And there's lots of stuff on our website for your listeners to check out.
I even just saw the Gen Z and the Blue Collar Revolution report, stuff you're talking about, the next generation, what we got to do to solve it. So I love that you guys are a part of that. Sam, thank you so much for being on the show today. I thought it was fantastic. I'm rooting for you guys. I know what you guys are doing is changing lives, and I love that. So thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. I really appreciate you having me.
Ryan Englin here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? Go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.